like all of our team. There we go. And will be dropped into the chat. Okay, guys. So let's jump straight in. I mean, you can kind of tell why we're here for the name of the flyer, how to become a funded account trader. But from my experience, having been in this industry and, dealing with a lot of new people who've come into the Forex space, we are also well aware that not all of you might know exactly what a funded account is, what prop firms are, and what you could potentially have access to. So as we go throughout this call, the purpose of this call is to give you information. Okay, because we've all entered this industry, and we were all beginners at one point, and we had to learn the ins and outs, right, of the Forex market in order how to take a trade, all of those kind of things. We're constantly educating ourselves, and this is just another aspect of the industry that kind of want to have yourself educated on, because there is a lot of opportunity within the funded account space. Okay, so throughout this call, I'm going to go through things that are kind of common misconceptions, maybe pitfalls of this aspect of the industry, because like anything, there are going to be pros and cons, which we're going to discuss. And then we're going to go into a very special guest towards the end, who Des is going to be doing a Q&A with, so that you guys have full transparency on exactly what myself, Des, and David have been doing over the last couple weeks to put something together for this team that we think is going to be really, really game changing, and something I personally am super, super excited about. So make sure you have a notepad and pen, especially if you're new and you saw funded account and you don't really know what it is, okay? Because you are going to probably want to take notes. And throughout this session, if you do have any questions, can you jot them down? Because we will allow for a Q&A at the end, okay? But if we could wait to the end, because if questions kind of get dropped the whole way through, then we kind of got to pause, and it creates a bit of delay. Whereas if we have them all at the end, they might even get answered, throughout the duration of this presentation. Okay, so first things first, what exactly is a funded account? Okay, and I've gone super, super like basic here because I want to make sure, we all fully understand. So essentially what a funded account is an account with high capital, meaning, and I say high, so some people 5,000 might not be high, to others it might be a lot, but it's capital that maybe you wouldn't normally be able to put into your own live trading account. Okay, and this can range anywhere from as low as 5,000 in an account to as much as 200K in an account that traders have access to if they can follow risk management and stick to predetermined targets by a prop firm. Okay, and again, I'm going to explain a bit more about that, what that means. But essentially, a funded account, you can go to a prop firm, right, as a retail trader. Okay, say I want a funded account. Okay, you'll do it on their website. You don't actually usually have a conversation. You will pay to take their challenge, and if you pass these targets, you will get that money. Okay, whether it's a 10K account, 25K account, 50K account, whatever the case may be. Okay, so what exactly is a prop firm? So the prop firm is the company. This is the business that will grant these funded accounts if those conditions are met. Now, I've put here commonalities in prop firms. Not every single prop firm is the same. Their rules kind of tweak from prop firm to prop firm. So you got to really be careful, if you are going to choose one, to make sure you read, all of their terms and conditions. And I'm going to go into that in a second when I talk about cons. Okay. But most prop firms will have a 1-step or 2-step challenge where an account needs to be grown. Hold on a second. There we go. Where an account needs to be grown, usually, again, not every single one, between 10 to 15%. Okay, so for example, let's say I want to get a 25K account. I've paid, I don't know, a couple $100 to do the challenge, and my challenge is to grow it by 15%. Okay, so as a trader, I'm going to, of course, work out my risk management for that 25K to make sure I'm not over leveraging, I'm not doing anything silly. Okay, and I'm going to slowly try and grow that account to 15%. Okay, if you pass, you then get the account. So if you meet all of their criteria and you pass, you would then be given the account that you applied for. However, if you fail, Okay, so let's say you breach certain rules. And most funded accounts will have a drawdown rule. So, for example, you can't go into drawdown more than 4% in a day, or you can't go into drawdown more than 10% overall, for example. So, if you fail the challenge, you'd need to pay to take it again. Okay. Drop a one if you're with me so far, especially for those of you who didn't really know what a funded account was, if that's kind of making sense, right? Drop a one if that's making sense. Okay, amazing. Perfect. Okay, so let's get into some pros and cons, okay? Because this is an industry, right, where, anything that comes to trading when choosing a broker, there's always going to be, right, some pros and cons. So pros. Number one, and this is what's most important for us, right, is you get more capital to trade with. Okay, so as a customer, if I'm getting a funded account, I'm getting more capital, right, that I can be using. So rather than me being on my $500 account and growing my account 10%, meaning I've made $50, what if I had a $50,000 account, made 10%, and actually made $5,000, right? And if you've been on my kind of risk management trainings, you'll understand I talk about percentages all the time, because at the end of the day, when it comes to trading, it's the percentage growth. It's not really the dollar amount. If you can handle the small and apply that risk management to the big, then you can stand to make a lot more money, right? Now, as a customer, for me as well, it is less personal risk. Okay, it is less personal risk. So, if I have 10,000 in my bank account and I think, okay, well, let me just put that in my trading account so I can grow it more, I'm putting myself at a lot of risk because I'm putting my savings into a trading account. So for me, it's less personal risk because now I'm leveraging the prop firm's money, not my money. It's the prop firm's money. Okay. Now, you also, I would say, in most funded accounts, you can either have bi-weekly to monthly payouts. Okay. You'll be happy to hear what we have in store for you is more than that. So that's super exciting. Okay. But what it means is it's a regular payday for me as a customer, right? I know a lot of us, if we start with a small amount, we're really trying to compound over the long term, which is super important, right? If you're growing your own trading account, okay, compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world, right? So you want to compound over the long term, right? But with funded accounts, you can kind of give yourself regular cash flow if you're able to stick to the rules, stick to good risk management, and grow your account. Okay, so there are some massive pros. Okay, some massive, massive pros to partnering up with a prop firm and having a funded account. However, there are some cons. And again, this is an education session. So we really want you guys to be aware, especially, some of you probably have already had funded accounts in the past, or you've maybe been researching and looking into funded accounts. But one thing you need to know about funded accounts is that a lot of prop firms don't actually operate what I would call ethically. What I mean by that is, let's say these challenge fees that you are paying, right? So if I pay for a 25K account and let's say it's $200, okay, that obviously goes into the company's pocket. Now, a lot of these prop firms rely on those challenge fees to pay out the customers who do eventually make it to a live environment. Okay, so they're kind of counting on the customer to fail because they need as much of that kind of challenge money as possible. Okay, so if you've ever been part of a prop firm, I have myself, so I'm speaking from experience, right? Where I passed a challenge, I was in a live environment, went to do my first withdrawal, and it was having, trouble. I think I had like a 2-week delay. I did eventually get paid. Okay, but for me, that was the beginning of a red flag. Okay, that was the beginning of the red flag because it delayed me in getting what I had earned, right? But there are prop firms that, they will completely disappear because they can't keep up with the traders that they do have in a live environment. Okay, so this is something you need to be very, very aware of. Now, the average lifespan of a prop firm is kind of between 2 to 3 years because of what I've just mentioned. So eventually they find themselves in a situation where they can't actually pay out. Okay, so they disappear, right? And a big reason for this is that a lot of prop firms are unregulated. which means there's not that many consequences if they're unregulated. So a recent example is my Forex funds. Okay, that one was massive. I had a lot of friends who were on my Forex funds, right? And they had a lot of issues. So again, I'm not saying this to scare you guys. Okay, I'm saying this because it's important you're educated. So if you do go out there and you start looking at other platforms, because there are lots, right? There, I can name 20 off the top of my head. There's lots out there, but these are the things that you want to look for. Okay, so that you don't fall victim to them. Okay, so normally, right, I wouldn't even really be having this conversation with you. If you had asked me 3 weeks ago, Shannon, what prop firm do you recommend? I wouldn't have given you, I wouldn't have given you a name. I might have suggested ones like, oh, FTMO has a pretty good reputation, or, I might have suggested a few, right, where maybe I'm using, or I know people in the space who are using, but I would never openly promote a funded account. Okay, so why exactly are we talking about it now? Okay, so it's very, very simple. Like I just mentioned, I would never openly promote because of the cons on the previous slide. But I've recently come across through a really good friend of mine. He is someone in Mastermind. He's been trading for almost 8 years. Some of you are going to know him. I won't mention his name just to call him out, but an excellent trader, someone I place a lot of value and respect on, a lot of trust into. And he's been in this industry, right? He had his own trading company and he was promoting this platform that we're going to discuss today. So I popped him a message. I was like, what's this? I was literally just thinking about getting a funded account. Drop me your link. I trust you. Let's get going. And it wasn't until I'd actually already purchased the challenge that he started telling me about this company. Right. And he started telling me why he chose to partner with them, because he has, like I said, he has a good reputation. He had his own trading business. So people listen to him, people respect him. But then he started telling me about their CEO. He started telling me about their core leadership team, what made this platform really unique. I'm not going to go into it because one of our special guests is definitely going to tell us about this. But in the last few weeks, I've had the privilege of having, I've had regular meetings with their corporate team. I think up till now, maybe they won't mind me saying, but they've had a lot of just retail traders. People come to them, they're trading. They've not had, people like us where, we have you guys, and we have you guys to look after, and we have you guys to educate, right? So in partnering with them, they've actually come up with a lot of different things that are going to benefit our community, that are special to our community. So I'm just going to briefly talk about how this could work, right? If you are going to get a funded account, you're going to have 3 different options. Okay. Number 1 is the standard, you take a challenge. If you pass it, you get the funds. Okay. Very, very simple, like I discussed before. So this is just an example of a 10K account. Okay, so you guys can see at the top, this is a phase 1 challenge. There would be unlimited trading days, meaning you can take as long as you want to pass this challenge. Okay, there are a lot of prop firms that put a time limit on it because, again, they want you to fail, right? They want to catch you out. Okay, this is unlimited. So if it means you only grow your account 2% in a month, no problem. You keep going into the second month until you hit your target. Now, you do need to have a minimum trading of 2 days, meaning you can't come on and just whack a 20 lot on there and hope to pass in one trade, okay? Because this is going to be a live trading environment. You need to have good risk management. Everything we talk about when it comes to your own trading account. Okay, so your goal is the max drawdown you can have is 4%. Okay, so you can see there. So if it's a 10K account, you can only go into negative $400. Otherwise, you've broken the rules. And overall drawdown of $700. Okay, 7%. Otherwise, you've broken the rules. Okay, but if you can grow that account 14%, you will then get the funded account and be in a live environment. Okay, now a 10K challenge, I've just used it as an example. There's 10K, 25K, 50K, 100K, 200K, right? For those of you who really want to go for the big ones, okay? And at the bottom is the price, right? $115. Now for you guys, it's not actually going to be that much, okay? Because we have partnered with this company, it means we'll be able to get you guys discounts, which is super exciting as well. Now, this was their normal method. This was their normal method of operations. But since we've come in, okay, they've actually tailored things to us so that we have other options. Now, this next one, it doesn't look pretty. And that's because, you know, the CEO and I and Des, you know, we've only kind of recently established this, and we are going to get it onto the website. Okay. But if you don't want to, you know, wait and pass the challenge, I know some of you, you know how to trade, so you just want to get straight to a live environment. Okay. If you're still relatively new to trading, I would suggest doing the challenge simply because you want to get into good habits. Like that's super, super important. But for those of you who know how to trade and you want to get straight into a live environment, okay, you can go for instant funding, meaning no evaluation, no challenge, right? You don't gotta grow your account 14% and pass. You can go straight to a live environment. Now, of course, this is going to cost a bit extra because it's a risk on the company's side, okay? Because once you go to a live environment, like you're trading their money, right? So they need to know, right, that you kind of know what you're doing, okay? So that option is going to be available for us very, very soon, which personally, I will be getting a second account to do that because I don't want to wait to do the challenge. And then we also have a third option, okay? Now, the third option is for those of you who maybe just want something growing in the background. Okay, you want something growing in the background that you don't have to trade on all the time. So maybe you want to focus on trading in your live account, and you can then get this as another account that's going to grow you money. Okay, so this one is if you want to use an EA. An EA is like a bot, basically. Okay, so that bot will, of course, get you to a live environment. Once you're in a live environment, it will then also trade for you. Now, that being the case, it's going to have a much more conservative risk and a conservative percentage, but it's something that you wouldn't actually need to trade for. Okay, so obviously, again, with this is going to cost a lot more because it's actually operating and trading for you. But if that's something that you want to do, that option is there as well. Okay, so all of that being said, right, one of the biggest reasons why we decided that maybe it was time to speak to you guys about this is because one of the biggest problems, someone's just messaged me and said not seeing my screen. Can you guys see my screen? This whole time? Surely you've been able to see my screen. Okay, okay, cool. Perfect. So the person who said that, you might need to, I don't know, change your view on Zoom, log out, log back in. But yeah, I'm definitely sharing my screen. Okay, amazing. Okay, cool. So the reason why we're bringing this to you guys now, and this is something, you know, myself, David, and Des, we've been in this space for a long time, right? We've seen a lot of traders come in. Most people come in because you want to make extra money. You want to have a side income, right? We see you educate yourself. We see you, you know, try really hard. But the fact of the matter is, if you can only, you know, maybe afford to start with $200, $500, even $1,000 in your trading account, it's very difficult for you to make a legit side, like a full side income, right? And when I say a full side income, I'm talking about 1,000, 2,000, maybe 3,000 extra a month from trading. Okay, if you start with $200, it's going to take you a very, very long time to compound and get to a point where you are genuinely making a side income. Okay, so for those of you who've come in, and I know a lot of you, right? A lot of you have been here for 6 months, a year, right? You've gotten the hang of trading, you've educated yourself, you're learning, okay? But maybe it's not making you the kind of money you want because you can't afford to put a certain amount of money in your trading account. This is an option that's available that allows you to leverage someone else's money so you can genuinely make a side income. Okay, so guys, that is my part done. My part was the education. You guys know I love to teach. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Again, if you've had questions, please just jot them down as we go. Okay, because we do have a lot more to get to. So I'm going to pass it over, okay, to someone who has a lot of experience in this industry. right? You guys get the privilege to trade with him every single day, right? I've seen he absolutely killed it today. I think it was like 3-1. So he's someone who, when it comes to this industry, he knows what he's talking about, right? He's been there, he's done that, he's seen it all. So I know for a lot of you, you know, his opinion is someone you, or not his opinion, his you know, is something you respect, right? If he says something, we all kind of tend to listen because number one, he's got an amazing character, right? A really, really genuine guy, but he's also a phenomenal leader. So, David, if you are there, if you could possibly unmute, get your camera on, I'm going to pass it over to you just to tell us a bit about, you know, your experience with funded accounts, because I know you definitely, definitely have some. And then we can go from there. Thanks, David.
Appreciate it, Shannon. You can hear me, yeah?
Yes, yes.
Fantastic. I still question how you managed to get all these slides and all of this promotion and everything out and still manage to live a life. You are definitely delivering for everybody. So I want to put some love in the chat from everybody for Shannon and what she's been doing for all of us and putting this call together very quickly. I don't want to take up much time, guys, because I can see, at least I see Tom and Liam are on the call, and I'd love for you to be able to hear from them rather than from me. I just want to explain to you, when Des and Shannon brought this to me, when they mentioned the word funded accounts, I turned my nose up at them, basically. But because it's Des and Shannon, I know they're very experienced in the trading industry. So therefore, if they're going to come and bring a funded company to us and to the team, they must have found something. And so just to briefly, for those of you who don't know, I've been trading now for 3.5, coming up to 4 years. I actually passed twice with my Forex funds and never ever received a payout because they shafted us, basically. And for many of you that have seen, I've seen horror stories as well with other funded accounts that people have stuck within the guidelines, and then all of a sudden they get that email coming through saying that they've violated some of whatever the T's and C's are, but they don't give you an explanation, they take it away. So for me, I really had a negative experience with funded accounts. So when I was introduced to these gentlemen and they showed me what they were doing, and it's funny because Florin, who is my go-to when it comes to trading, when I showed this to him, he basically explained to me as well that this is what all prop firms should have done, but didn't. And for most people, this is going to seem too good to be true. And there's always something that I share with everybody. Whenever you get the saying too good to be true, you must pay attention. Now, the reason why you must pay attention is because I've had opportunities given to me that were too good to be true and I didn't take them up. And eventually I ended up missing out. I was actually told about Uber. And some black cab drivers and people that I knew in part-time football were telling me it would never work. And so I wasn't able to participate in any investment in that at all. And so when this came up and we started to really dissect it, it totally and utterly made sense. And it's a breath of fresh air to actually see some people that really genuinely want to do it the right way and allow you to be able to win. Now, the icing on the cake, because most people, they do struggle to pass the phase 1 and phase 2 of funded accounts because of, as traders, when it comes to risk management, we're awful. We really are. And so when they mentioned to me in the last 24 hours, and I spoke with Des as well, that they're going to do instant funding, honestly, guys, I've been doing numbers and I've been drawing out, and some of you have got some big goals and dreams for the end of this year. I urge you, if you do this right and trust in these guys, I think you should 10x the number that you're looking for if you do this correctly and you manage your risk when it comes to trading, because not only from the trading, but also being able to build the rebates as well. There's so much potential behind all of this. And I just want to say a huge thank you to Liam, Tom, and any of the rest of the guys that are on the call that are part of this, to bring it to us and allow us to have access and also accommodate for us as well. So I'm very excited. I believe you guys are now going to have access to them, so I don't want to eat into any more time. But I've got a vision of us trading live every single day, having an accountability group, one specifically for everybody that has a funded account, and we hold each other accountable. We really do. And from that, I can already envision the success stories we're going to see of another withdrawal and another withdrawal and another withdrawal of everybody making profits. And the biggest issue in trading, Most people have a small amount of money and they're trying to make a big amount, which means you put your account at risk. The most successful traders in the world, they have a big amount of money in their trading account and they only make a small percentage. The trouble is most people can't get a large amount in their trading account, or it will take a long time. This solves that issue. And so without further ado, I want to bring on, is Des coming on first? I want to bring on Des to introduce the gents and say thanks to Des and Shannon for finding this, opening this up to us. And all of you know who Des is, but Des is very experienced in the trading world. He actually set up his own trading academy. So when it comes to this industry, he definitely isn't shy of experience and is somebody that will definitely be able to guide the ship even more so. So I want to put some love in the chat for Des. Des, I want to bring you on to come and explain any more and then introduce the guys so that people can really have access to the right information.
Absolutely incredible. Thank you so much, David Hunt. In fact, guys, put a 111 in the chat box for David Hunt. An incredible guy. You know, we're so blessed to have him now as part of the leadership team, and what he's doing in the trading space and supporting the whole community with their trading is truly phenomenal. I enjoy our morning chats where he gloats as to how much money he's made everyone in the mornings, and it's really good to see. So I appreciate you, David. Absolutely phenomenal. And now it's time for the main event. And it gives me great joy and pleasure to bring on the CEO of Axis Capital and his team as well. I believe we have so we have Tom here, who is the CEO. If we can bring him on, please. And I believe his team are here as well, Liam, and I believe Alan may be here. And if there's anyone else, Tom can let us know. These are guys who I have got to know incredibly well over the last couple of weeks. Countless Zoom calls and phone calls, and I had the pleasure of hosting them at my private members club last week as well. Broken bread, and I'm very impressed. You know, I'm not going to repeat anything that everyone said, but I will just repeat the line that just stuck out for me in our first meeting, and that was, when clients win, we win. And that stuck out for me because that ethos has not been seen before in the funded account space. And it just goes to show the direction that this company is going in, you know, and they are set up so that when you win, they genuinely win. So therefore, the emphasis is on you winning. And that's what I like to see. So without further ado, let me bring on Tom. Tom, if you'd like to just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Axis Capital. And in particular, I want you to just really focus on what makes you guys unique.
Of course, Des, thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for having me here. Incredible introduction from Des, Shannon, and David and the rest of the team. So really an overview of Axis and its group of companies. So myself and my business partner, we worked at tier one investment banks for the last 15 years. In 2020 and 2021, we chose to break away and start what we call now the Axis Group. The Axis Group consists of Axis Markets, Axis Capital, and soon Axis Futures, which we're launching in January. We're dealing with the US authorities at the moment on that. Very complex, very long-winded, but we're super excited to launch that. We saw a bit of an opportunity in the space that if you apply some basic risk principles to a very complex world, you can really change the game. And David made a fantastic point earlier. This is, we believe, the firm that probably should have been done a few years ago. So we have not reinvented the wheel. We've implemented some good risk management, some good FX and commodity dealing principles to our product, and created an ecosystem that, as Des already put, when we win, you win, and when you win, we win. It's a phenomenal sort of coalition between client and brokerage. We have each other's goals and sights aligned and in the same target zones. And yeah, we've had a huge amount of uptake, and it's been an incredibly positive start for us.
Absolutely phenomenal. So can you tell us a bit about the tests themselves?
Sure. So the business is built on what we call a book liquidity. And what that means is after someone passes the evaluation, we actually take their trades and pass them to the live market, as opposed to relying on other people's failed challenges to pay. And the difference with that is longevity in the market. There are many prop firms out there, and I'm sure from listening to the guys earlier in this call, some of you have traded with them, but there are many firms that become completely incapacitated with the amount of live traders they have, and they can't keep out with the demand for payouts. They may have $1, $2, $3, $4 million a month in inbound challenge fees. But after the first 12 to 18 months, the shift and the tide starts changing, and those fees that are coming in cannot keep up with the amount of live traders they have. Yeah. So it becomes imbalanced very quickly. So the first 12 are the most profitable, and then instead of increasing, it actually goes the wrong way. So we've come in and we find that it's an incredible system to simply take the actual past evaluation traders, take the people that show us that they can trade effectively, and put their trades to the live market and take what we call a spread. So it's a fee per trade. So we're paid either way. And that model is very self-sustainable. It's very profitable. It's been done in normal CFD brokerages for years and years and years on dealing desks. So as I said earlier, we're not reinventing the wheel. In order for us to take these trades to market, we need to place what we call margin at our liquidity provider, which is also one of our businesses. And we get that margin from the challenge fees. So we implement these, as Shannon mentioned, strategic levels, so that we can understand people's trading methodology, their trading frequency, and how profitable they can prove to be. So when they do meet the requirements, so they do meet the goals, we can take these funds that we've earned from their challenge fees and place the margin at live market to replicate their positions. So that is why the challenges and the evaluations exist for us. And again, we're able to offer some incredible discounts through Des and Shannon and David for that, because we are not centric on making the challenge fee. We would rather the trader have longevity in the market, create profits, create volume, which in turn creates our spreads and rebates. So our model is geared to the success of the trader and not geared to the failure or the challenge fee.
And that's a really important point, because my experience with prop firms, unfortunately, similar to David's, not quite as extreme, but there was lots of manipulation, and that stems from an environment where it's the opposite. Many prop firms, I think, as Shannon has already highlighted, when you win, they lose. When you win, it's coming out of their profits. So therefore, you're more prone to manipulation. You know, so many horror stories of people passing these challenges, and then they're told that they've violated some mysterious rule that, you know, was in some kind of small print. So that's a really important point. So something that's going to be hot on everyone's lips is going to be the issue of withdrawals. So can you tell us a bit about withdrawals process, how long it takes, how long do you have to wait to make one, that kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly that. So in line with what you said, Des, about these sneaky rules and these sort of people trying to create reasons not to pay people, it's the opposite for us. With proprietary trading funds or prop funds, we take a percentage of your revenue. So we take usually a 20% portion of your profit, an 80-20 revenue share. With us, if people make money, let's say for every $1,000 a month they make, we're going to retain 200 for it. So for us, it's important that you make money. With the withdrawal of that money, because we pass your trades to live market, and because the positions are made on our liquidity provider, the cash is instantly there to pay. So as opposed to having to make up a bunch of rules or wait for another few thousand challenges to sell, our funds are readily and instantly available, and we can pay same day or within 24 hours. So we're a UK company. We're based in London, in the city. If you place your withdrawal request before 10 a.m. UK, it will be in your account same day. We have clients that make 5 withdrawals a week. All we ask is that the withdrawals are north of $100, because it costs us a few percent to make these transactions. But yeah, we have people that take out $200 on Monday, $500 every Friday, whatever they've made during the week. So 24 hours. There are 4 different methods of withdrawal type. So we have bank wire, credit and debit card reversal, direct instantaneous crypto payments, and one of the first in the industry to offer our own Axis Capital debit card. It's a titanium debit card. It's branded. It looks nice. It feels nice. It's something tangible that people can hold with them. we find this, again, not so much of a gimmick, but more of an instantaneous access to your cash. And you can use it like an internet banking facility. If you make $500 on your account, you can press a few buttons and instantly load your debit card. It's a MasterCard, sorry, MasterCard. So yeah, we're finding a lot of success with that, and a lot of people, a lot of appetite for that. But yeah, 4 almost instantaneous methods for withdrawal.
Amazing. And I don't want that to I don't want that point to get missed, because again, in my experience with prop firms, funded account companies, you either have to wait until the end of the month or a specific date or every so weeks. And again, it's because of their model. But because Axis Markets have access to their own broker and liquidity providers, that's why it's able to function in that way. And that's great. You know, we know that life happens. Sometimes you need to make that withdrawal. You can't wait that long for the withdrawal. So that's phenomenal. That really stood out for me when I heard that. So that's incredible. As you probably saw at the beginning of the call, we have people from all around the world in our organization. Are there any countries that you don't operate in? Anything we need to be aware of in that respect?
Not particularly. Obviously, having a regulated mother company in Axis Markets, we have certain rules and jurisdictional stuff to abide by. But no, unless they're active war zones or places of conflict, it's pretty much fair game. So we have people from Australia, New Zealand, I've seen in the chat earlier, London, India, the US, we're pretty much across the globe.
Phenomenal. So guys, you can start popping your questions in the chat now. I'm going to read, okay, brilliant. So I'm going to start with this one here. Can people in the Caribbean have access to the credit card that you just mentioned, or the debit card? And how is it available? If no, can personal credit card be a viable option? Okay, so yeah.
So in answer to that question, of course you can. We would post you a card and a PIN number, and then that card would be managed from your account facility you have with Axis. If you don't want the cards, then again, we can withdraw funds to the card that you may have purchased the challenge with. We can send crypto, we can send bank wires pretty much anywhere in the world, just with the standard information.
Incredible.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that comes down, I think that comes down because in the Caribbean, especially Trinidad, they're having a lot of issues with brokers and using debit cards as well. So they're having to fund everything with crypto. So that will be a big game changer. That would.
Yeah, there's a few regions like that actually, where that would actually change the game. So that's incredible. A couple of questions from Aniko. What are the rules around drawdown for the instant funded accounts? Who provides the EA, and what brokers are available for US clients? Okay,
So the drawdown rules are for 2-phase challenges, 5% daily and 10% collectively overall. The 1-phase challenges are 4% daily and 7% overall, because you only have to go through one hurdle to pass, so the risk parameters are a little bit more stringent. Depends on people's trading styles, which ones they choose, but we find people have success with both. The instant funded rules, so it's slightly more expensive because we use that money to cover our margin costs of placing the trades at market, but then it's fair game. Any trades you make, you'll be instantly paid on.
Is that my end?
80%.
Oh, I think you froze there for a bit.
Oh, sorry, can you hear me now? Okay.
Yes, loud and clear.
Great. So I was just saying on the instant funded challenges, it's 5% a day, 10% collectively. On who provides the EA, we partnered with a company called TGT, who are rolling out some fantastic strategies at the moment. So that is a self-sufficient plug and play scenario. You would purchase the EA and purchase the instant funded account, or purchase a package where it comes collectively. And that is literally pay and walk away, I guess. And what brokers are available to US clients? We are the broker. So Axis Markets that you'll see behind us is Axis Capital's liquidity provider. We are the broker and we are the prop fund. There's 3 companies in our ecosystem.
Amazing. I'm not sure if you can answer this one. What is the average profit target of the AI trading, the EA? I think that's what that means.
Yeah, I think so. It's in testing at the moment. We're watching it at the moment, clearly, and it depends on the risk parameters that the client chooses to input on their account. So whatever risk they're willing to take, the bot, the EA will trade accordingly to that. But we're seeing consistent averages between 3 and 6% a month on that. And I think, as Shannon correctly pointed out at the beginning, the brokerage and self-trading space is really changing over the last few years. You know, people have seen FX and signal providers and educators all around the world always not really coming up with the goods and not producing. And they also, as David pointed out, you know, if you put $500 in an account and you make 2% consistently, you'd be doing very, very well, but it's certainly not going to change your life. In-game prop funds and these rules and these abilities to actually leverage up and trade on bigger capital and making 2 to 4% on the month on reasonable funds could massively impact someone's financial position. So yeah, we try to make sure that we only partner with bot companies that are conservative, things that are realistic and sustainable. But yeah, anywhere between 3 and 6% a month, I think, is a good batting average at the moment.
Amazing. So anyone on a call who's a builder, who's an affiliate, this is a great thing to have in your toolbox as you're building, because as you're building the business, what people really want to know is that, can this opportunity allow them to achieve their financial goals? And having a funded account definitely accelerates that process. So it really enhances the conversation around joining the platform. Working really closely with one of my other leaders, Jason Egbodza, he implemented a funded account strategy into his building strategy, and it worked very, very well. But a key thing is to really celebrate when someone in your team passes the account. That's definitely a point of celebration, and that really encourages other people to go down a similar path as well. So celebrations, certificates, celebrating them online is definitely something I'd recommend. Can you merge two 50K accounts into one 100K account?
It's a good question, but no, you can't. We keep accounts and strategies and risk drawdowns separate to avoid any confusion. So you can purchase two 50K accounts. I've seen another question there. You can purchase multiple accounts, but you cannot merge your accounts together.
Okay, thank you for that. I think keep moving. How many funded accounts can one person have with Axis Capital? So you like that question?
Yeah, it's pretty much as many as you like. But we do have hedging rules. And what I mean by that is, if you purchase two 100K accounts, you can't buy on one account and sell on the other account and hope that one hits the 5% drawdown and one makes 5K. That circumvents obviously our policy of ascertaining whether people can actually trade and the margin we go to put behind them. So we don't allow dynamic hedging models, but you can have multiple accounts and deploy multiple strategies.
Phenomenal. Regarding clients in the US, do they need to do anything for it to work there?
It depends on the state, and IP laws and US laws are changing all the time. This is why we're working with the SEC at the moment and seeking their legal advice and opinions on how we behave and operate there. That's from what we include in our contracts to the context on our websites. David pointed out my Forex funds earlier. They went down in 2019-20, I believe, with $310 million of people's money. They were froze by the CFTC for improper and inappropriate uses of language related to trading and regulatory practices. So we're very conscious. That said, there is no direct regulation for the activity of prop trading yet. So regulatory, for investment dealer licenses that we have on the liquidity provider, but in terms of prop trading, there is no license applicable. So we just work closely with regulators. We're upfront about how we behave and what we do. We do operate in the US currently. Some states and some IP and server updates require some clients to use a VPN, but we have VPN companies that I think they're free for 30 days and £5 a month thereafter. But yeah, US, we have plenty of US traders.
Phenomenal. I think I can answer this one from Florin. Our live accounts operated with simulated capital. Pleased to say that this is what makes Axis Markets unique, that it's absolutely not simulated capital, and that you are operating in a live trading environment with real funds. Trades are going to the market. But the second part, or the second question, from Florin. Are there different account types, commission, lot tighter spreads?
Yeah, so we offer one account type all the way through the evaluation process and the live process. We don't offer incredibly cheap spreads in the evaluation and widened spreads in the live. Things are consistent all the way through. At the moment, we're finding just operating one spread group. It's a competitive spread group, so it's the same that you'd see if you were depositing funds at any normal CFD or spread betting brokerage firm. You'll see all major Forex and commodity pairs around or under 2 pips. So yeah, it's industry standard pricing at the moment.
Phenomenal. I can see Shannon is answering a lot of the questions, so I'm going to skip through them. Incredible. Do you allow hedge? Do you allow hedging within the same account?
You can hedge within the same account.
Shannon, I just saw your message. Yes, is the answer to that. Okay. When we need to. Okay, brilliant stuff. Conscious we've got another call at 9 p.m. So we'll just take a couple more and then we'll wrap up. And before I do that, is there anything that you wanted to get across, Tom, before I go into the next question?
No, I mean, I really appreciate the audience you brought here, the opportunity to speak about Axis. We're really excited to be working with these different companies and communities that, you guys have brought a lot of value to the table. I've said this from the beginning, we are not retail trading experts. We are not client-facing businesses. We are born from a business-to-business type of approach. Understanding what you guys want, need, and enjoy in these environments. We like to listen. We like to take things on board. If you become clients, hopefully some of you do, anything that you need, we're on hand from a support perspective all the time. If there are certain conditions that you all bring to our attention that you think are fair, we'd be happy to implement if it's within reason. So yeah, we're well on the way on our journey, but we love, consistent, constructive critic. And yeah, it'd be great to work with any of you.
Phenomenal. I think we've got time for a couple more. So can beginners use funded accounts? Absolutely. Is there an affiliate program? I don't know if you want to touch on that. Is there an affiliate program?
Yeah, so we are very strong on affiliate programs. The anyone can become an IB. Anyone can become an affiliate. If you have a platform, oh, I think I've frozen. I don't think so. It was does. If you have a platform, you can request to become an IB on the platform at any point.
Amazing. Do you have any IP rules, max amount of IPs that has been trading on the accounts? No, we
don't. I think that goes back to your hidden rules, Des. Other prop firms may utilize IP rules to try and catch people out, but we're not worried about that.
Excellent. Amazing. I think I've caught them all. Shannon, did I miss any?
No, I think you're good. I think the main thing for me, some of the questions that were coming up, because we're not used to prop firms actually being in a live environment, there's loads of questions regarding those type of things. But basically, guys, this is essentially like your own trading account. You just need to ensure you apply proper risk management. So you can trade news, you can trade on the weekends, you can, take multiple entries, anything you might do as normal trading behavior in your normal trading account, as long as it's within your risk parameters and your proper risk management, you guys are good to go, which is what we love about Axis so much. It's actually a live trading environment. So they're not trying to catch us out with these rules. I think that's the most important part. Yeah. So Shell, we can talk about that after. We'll do trainings on it.
Just on the question about news and weekend trading, you can trade news if you like. You can hold positions over the weekend, no problem. Again, they're not rules that we find applicable to successful traders.
Amazing. Well, I think this is a good time to thank you and your team, Liam, Alan, working in the background. I know that these are unsocial hours for you. I'm sure you're not used to working this late, but we really do appreciate your time. Really appreciate you giving us a deeper insight into Axis Markets. And and I'll speak for the other icons when I say that we are super excited for what this is going to do for our organizations. And you know, leaders like myself, we come into this business because we genuinely want to impact lives, you know, impact over income, people before profits, and the mission before any commission. And this allows people to, you know, move closer to their financial goals. And that for me, you know, makes this absolutely worthwhile. So a massive thank you to you on behalf of the team. And we look forward to working with you very, very closely.
No, thank you. Thanks very much for having me.
Appreciate you, Tom. Thank you so much. And guys, a shameless plug for the next Zoom, which is on this same link. It's the first training of our new series, Icon Mentorship Training. Never been done before. We're going to be breaking down specific topics when it comes to building an organization to 6 figures, Icon rank and above. So the first one is kicking off in 5 minutes with yours truly, and we're going to be looking at prospecting, how to prospect, one of the most fundamental topics when it comes to building the business. So I look forward to seeing you on the other side. I'm not going to log off. I'm just going to stay connected. I'll play some personal development. But guys, can you just thank Tom in the chat box in your own unique way, whether that's with an emoji, whether that's with words, whatever you want to say. But let's just thank Tom and the team for giving up their time. And I know that this is going to be the start of a very, very good relationship. Make sure you get your notepads and pens ready, guys. We are going to be going in today. It's going to be a phenomenal training. There's going to be lots of icons coming out of the camp. So we've got 75 on the call. Anyone here is an affiliate or an aspiring affiliate, then you definitely want to be on this training. You want to grab a notepad and a pen. Okay, guys, I'm going to grab a glass of water and we're going to reconvene in approximately 3 minutes' time.
What is your why? Why'd you even get out of the bed this morning?
What's your why? Why do you want to do it?
What is your gift?